I'm gonna need Nintendo Intelligent Systems to just calm down a little bit. If you've been staying up to date with the Fire Emblem Engage news cycle, you know it's been a little insane with new information virtually dropping every single day. Well, luckily, I'm here to break it all down for you. Hello everyone, my name is Kratos, and in today's video we'll be taking a look at the remaining 6 emblem characters Nintendo just revealed last week in a blog post. So we kind of knew who these characters were going to be, but they did show off a little bit more information showing off the Engage skills we're going to see and some of the Engage attacks too. So let's get this show on the road. Little disclaimer here, I'm using a lot of translation and I'm pulling from a bunch of different places because it's only been showed in a blog post on the Nintendo website, so it's all in Japanese. So we're using a lot of different sources to get our information here, so some things may be a little quite inaccurate. Let me know in the comments if you can fill in the gaps or correct me if I do any mistakes. All right, let's start with Leaf. So Leaf will be a master of the weapon triangle, being able to yield bows, sword, lance, and axe as far as we know. No words on magics or staves, but I would say that they're gonna keep him to bows, sword, and lances and axes. This is clearly a nod to his Master Knight class in Genealogy, where he gets access to pretty much everything in the game. So I think they're kind of playing up on that with that skill too, kind of just giving a little bit of a nudge to the audience. And his skills are also going to play into that, with the first one being adaptability. This is a defensive skill that allows him to switch to his most advantageous weapon in the weapon triangle when attacked. So for example, if he gets attacked by a sword, he will automatically switch to a lance to defend himself, always having the advantage. Again, another nod to Fire Emblem 4, where the enemy would do this exact same thing. His other skill is called Tetra Trick, where he uses 4 weapons to throw a series of attack at the enemy. It's still unclear the amount of damage per weapon or the number of hits, but I think it's going to be 4, 1 of each weapon, and damage is going to vary, I assume. I won't usually talk a lot about the weapons, but one of his confirmed weapons is the Light Brand, which is a weapon he starts with in Thracia 776. So kind of also a cool little nod there. Again, really liking all the little nods they're doing to previous Fire Emblem titles through these abilities. Next up, we have Roy. So one of my favorites, Roy, of course. His first skill is called Transcendence or Go Beyond. I'm not sure of the name. I've heard it said in both ways in different places, but essentially it grants a temporary bonus to all the character's stats from around 2 to 4 depending on which stat. His Engage attack will be called something along the line of Lion Flame Dance. I've seen like 3 different variations of this, so that's why I'm gonna go with Lion Flame Dance, because those were the 3 words that came back the most. He seems to attack the character in front of him and leaves a 3x3 square in front of him in flames that prevents movement. So as you can see on the image right now, there's a 3x3 square in where there's flames that appear. I don't know about the preventing movement. I don't know if it reduces the movement or if it locks them in there. This one, much like Corrin, it seems to be inspired from his ultimate in Smash. I mean, loosely from one little screenshot. There's a lot of similarity because, in Smash, Roy uses a lot of attacks that are boosted by fire. So, they added that fire look to Roy because it's a little bit of a nod to Roy's real first appearance, which was in Smash Melee a few months before Binding Blade ever came out. So I guess it's a nice little tip of the hat there. So this one I'm very excited for with Erica and Ephraim. As far as we knew until now, it was only going to be Erica, but they just showed off that the twins will share a ring, which I'm low-key really happy about because I'm a huge Ephraim fan, and I thought that was gonna be forgotten a little bit, and now we're gonna get to see him, so I'm happy. So a little side note there, I'm not sure about the look. I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. I don't think Ephraim looks that great there, and maybe it's the darker blue hair. I don't know what it is, but it just doesn't really look like him to me. But what can we do? We just have to live with it. So here, their ability is called Luna or Lunar Brace and Soul or Solar Brace. Again, it's another name I've seen written different ways. But what it does is whoever is synced to the emblem can switch between both twins, basically. This is a nod to their promotion item in Sacred Stones. So this sync skill, which seems to be their passive skill, when Erica is equipped, it reduces the target's defense. And when Ephraim is equipped, he heals himself when he deals damage, kind of like a vampirism of some sort. However, when engaged, both skills are fused together to create the skill Sosai. I've also seen this translated to Sacred Twins, so it both reduces defense and heals. And finally, their Engage attack is named Twin Strike, which is only described as a move dealing massive damage using a sword and a lance. So another massive damage move with 2 weapons. Moving on to Ike. Okay, I love the Telios game, so I'm really happy about Ike and Micaiah, but let's look at them. So Ike is the defensive bulky emblem. It was kind of expected that there would be an emblem that catered more to tankier units, And Ike is the logical choice when you look at all the lords available. So his engage skill is called Steadfast. I've also heard it called Fix, but what this does is it will make the unit take half damage from all attacks, but you won't be able to dodge any of those attacks. So you'll have to carefully synergize this skill. You don't really want to use this on someone who uses mostly dodging as their defensive skill. You're going to want to use this on, you know, Armor Knight, some very high defense cavalry probably. His emblem attack is called Supreme Ether. So this is, again, a little callback to Ike's iconic skill, Ether. What it will do is it'll boost the character's defense for a turn, then activates the Ether skill. The skill will be able to be used up to 2 tile range. This is where I'm coming a little confused from the translation I've seen. So I read somewhere it activates on counterattacks, and then I read somewhere else that it activates on the turn after, but maybe that was just bad translation. So I'm still unsure about when it activates, but it doesn't seem to be something you're attacking with, but more something you respond to attack with. So I'm gonna think it's the counterattack side of things, but if you guys know more, let me know in the comments, because I'm confused about that one. Next up, we have Micaiah. Of course, after Ike will come Micaiah. She plays the role of a healer, so we have an emblem dedicated to healer. Her first skill is called Amplify, which will, you know, for lack of a better term, amplify the area of effect of stabs and their range. Her next skill, which is her engage attack, I guess, will be called Great Sacrifice, where the unit will drop their health all the way down to 1 HP, but will heal an ally to full health or multiple ally. That's the part that's not clear. I've read somewhere that it's probably all your units to full health, which I think makes most sense, because in the case of it only healing a single unit, that seems like a little bit underwhelming. But again, a skill that comes with a downside, so we'll have to think about positioning a lot when using that specific engage skill. And finally, we have Lucina. Her first engage skill is called Shield of Bonds. So simply it gives a chance to neutralize an attack to an adjacent ally. Her second engage skill is called All for One. It will enable her to create a sort of chain attack using all allies surrounding her in a 2 square radius. So I think it'd be pretty powerful if you can have like all your team clustered up. I think you can do a big chain damage. I don't know if there's like a maximum amount limit of units or if it's like just all of them. All right, so since my last video, we also got a couple of clarifications that are pretty important to talk about. We now know that the engage attack will only be able to be used once per engage, so that's pretty good. It does come alleviate a little bit of my concerns concerning the difficulty and the overpowerness of some of these skills. As we can see with Micaiah and Ike, there seems to be downside to certain abilities they have. I don't know if they're going to implement that to other characters, and they've yet to reveal that information, but seeing that it's not all and mighty, and there may be a couple of downsides here and there for a couple of them, and also being able to use the attack once per engage cycle does also make me less wary of, you know, potential overpowerness or spamming of this to just clear maps in 2 to 3 seconds. All right, for this final part of the video, I'm a little annoyed by it, but I have to talk about it. We're getting a day 1 DLC, or I should say expansion pass. It will come in 4 phases, the first one dropping on the day of launch. You'll get a bunch of extra goodies such as a silver card, cosmetics, and some stat upgrade items. But what we'll focus on here is the 2 extra emblems you get. But this time they're not rings, they come in the form of bands or bracelets. The first one unlocking the Fodlan Lords, the trinity of Dimitri, Claude, and Eligard, who will share that bangle, and much like Erica and Ephraim, will be able to be switched for the purposes you need, it seems. You'll also receive a band with the Divine Dragon Tiki. Phase 2 and 3 will provide more emblem characters, and from what we know from phase 4, it will be also a story DLC. Some pretty standard stuff there. So as much as I hate the practice of day 1 DLC, at the end of the day, it's additional content that doesn't really provide more beyond tactical advantage. I know it sucks. I don't like it. I don't think most people like it either. And finally, they also dropped a 6-minute long trailer, which will be linked in the description. This looks like the trailer of the base of the island that shows off all a bunch of extracurricular features, which I'll let you guys explore on your own because we're already running out of time on this video. And there's another point I want to bring up before we end. The one thing I want to bring up is they seem to show off some kind of gacha system in the game. So in this little mini game, you can pull random cards of character from older FE titles. These seem to be used to provide bonuses to your current emblem rings. To pull these cards, you have to use some kind of in-game resource, which we don't really know how to obtain or what it's all about. So I'm not against the concept. I think it can be a cool little mini game to make your emblem rings better. As far as we know, it's a cool extra little mini game The one thing that I've seen online, the rumblings, the rumors, the talking points, things that people are afraid of that Nintendo might do, and I would not put it past Nintendo to do any of that, is making this resource purchasable with real life money. You know, this would essentially just create a second Fire Emblem Heroes game within Fire Emblem Engage, and I don't think any Fire Emblem fan wants to really see that. We don't want this game to devolve into another gacha game. You know, if you want a gacha game, go play Heroes. It's perfectly fine. Personally, I don't think they're gonna do it. What makes me so confident? No evidence. I'm just praying in my hearts of hearts that they won't do it. In reality, I'm just trying to stay optimist, but I wouldn't put it past Nintendo to do such a thing. Well, that is it for me today. So what do you think of the new Engage abilities we just saw? I'm personally quite excited to play this game and see all these new abilities in action, play with some of my favorite characters of all time, and have a good time. So as per usual, leave a like if you liked the video, comment down in the comment section below, tell me which one of these you're more excited for, and are you scared of the gacha system? Subscribe if you want to see more Fire Emblem content. I will upload at least one Fire Emblem Engage video per week as we build up towards the release of the game, and other JRPG stuff if you're interested in that. But other than that, I bid you all adieu. Have a great rest of your day, great rest of your week, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye bye.